Have you ever wondered what the world would look like if Germany and Japan had won World War II? It's a thought that's crossed many minds, a wild ride into the realm of what-ifs and alternate histories that challenges our understanding of the past and present. Imagine, if you will, an end to World War II that strays from the pages of our history books. The year is 1945. The world holds its breath, bracing for the outcome of the most devastating conflict in human history. But this time the victorious cheers echo not from the Allies but from Germany and Japan, an unthinkable victory, altering the course of history forever. In this alternate reality, a new world order emerges from the ashes of war. Germany and Japan, now the world's dominant powers, dictate the global agenda. Boundaries are redrawn, nations are reshaped, and cultures are transformed. The world map as we know it today is just a ghost of what it could have been. Political changes are swift and far-reaching. Democracy, as championed by the Allies, is replaced by the doctrines of fascism and imperialism. Freedom and individual rights take a back seat to state control and military might. In the cultural landscape, Western influence wanes, giving way to a blend of German and Japanese philosophies, arts, and traditions. This is a world where the Axis powers' ideologies permeate every aspect of life, casting long shadows over society. The repercussions of this victory continue to ripple through time, leaving an indelible mark on the world's collective consciousness. But this isn't just a story of global domination and cultural shift. It's a narrative of resilience, of humanity's ability to adapt and endure. Because even in this alternate reality, one thing remains constant: the indomitable spirit of the human race. Now let's dive into how this alternate reality might have unfolded, starting from 1945. The year is 1945, and the Axis powers have claimed victory. The Second World War's dust is still settling, and the world is reeling from an outcome few could have anticipated. Germany and Japan, against all odds, have emerged as the victors. In the immediate aftermath, the world would have been a scene of both celebration and despair. The Axis powers revel in their victory while the defeated Allied nations grapple with their new reality. The world as we knew it has changed, and a new order is about to take shape. Imagine a world where Germany and Japan divide the globe into spheres of influence. In Europe, Germany, having already spread its influence over much of the continent, would likely extend its reach even further. The United Kingdom, once a powerful empire, is now under German control, its royal family perhaps exiled or worse. France, already under occupation, would likely remain a puppet state, its once vibrant culture now suppressed under the weight of German rule. Across the Atlantic, the United States, having lost the war, would face an uncertain future. Would it become a German colony, its democratic ideals replaced with fascist ideologies? Or perhaps it would maintain some semblance of autonomy, but with its influence significantly curtailed. On the other side of the world, Japan would assert control over Asia and the Pacific. China, already embroiled in a brutal war with Japan, would likely fall under Japanese rule. Australia and New Zealand too would likely become Japanese territories. In this alternate reality, the global political landscape would have been radically altered. Countries that once prided themselves on their independence and sovereignty are now mere puppets in the hands of the Axis powers. The balance of power has shifted, and the world is now under the control of two nations that espouse ideologies of racial superiority and totalitarian rule. The ripples of this victory would have been felt in every corner of the globe, affecting politics, culture, and the very fabric of society. By the 1950s, the world map would have looked dramatically different. Fast forward to the 1950s, a decade marked by tension and competition. Now imagine a world where Germany and Japan, instead of the United States and the Soviet Union, are the two superpowers locked in a Cold War. A chilling thought, isn't it? This was a time of intense rivalry, not just in terms of military might, but in every possible arena. Science, technology, culture, sports, space, no field was left untouched by this proxy war of ideologies. But how would these have been influenced in our alternate timeline? In the realm of technology, the German prowess in engineering and the Japanese knack for innovation could have led to a technological revolution unlike any we've seen. We might have seen the birth of advanced rocket technology or precision manufacturing much earlier. In politics, the world could have been split between the German and Japanese spheres of influence. Countries would have been forced to pick sides, leading to a global chess game of alliances and betrayals. The United Nations, if it would have existed, could have been a very different entity, perhaps a battleground where these two powers jostled for control. Culturally, the world could have been a melting pot of German and Japanese influences. Imagine Oktoberfest celebrations in Tokyo or sushi becoming a staple in Berlin. The cultural exchange, driven by the need to understand and outdo the other, could have led to a fascinating fusion of East and West. But it's important to remember that this is all conjecture. History, as we know it, is full of twists and turns. The truth is, the world would have been vastly different, and not necessarily better, had Germany and Japan emerged victorious in World War II. The 1960s would bring even more changes, as the two powers continued to vie for global dominance. Imagine for a moment, the world as we know it today. Now let's take a step into the realm of what-ifs and conjecture. If Germany and Japan had emerged victorious in World War II, how would our present day look under their rule? Technologically, we might be living in a very different world. German scientific prowess was widely recognized even in the midst of war, and had they won, it's safe to say that technological advancements would be significantly accelerated. We might have seen the advent of space travel, the internet, and artificial intelligence much earlier than we did in our timeline. Culturally, there could have been a profound shift. German and Japanese culture might have become the global norm, permeating every corner of the world. Our music, art, and literature might have been heavily influenced by these two cultures, leading to a global cultural landscape significantly different from the diverse one we know today. Politically, the world would likely have been divided into two main spheres of influence, the German and the Japanese. Democracy, as we know it, might have taken a back seat, replaced by authoritarian rule. Borders may have been redrawn, and nations as we know them might have ceased to exist. But what about human rights and freedoms? It's a sobering thought. The atrocities committed by these regimes during the war are well documented. Had they won, these inhumane practices might have become the norm, leading to a world where human rights are a privilege, not a right. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? A world that could have been, had the tides of war turned differently. In this alternate reality, the world as we know it would be unrecognizable. We've navigated through the unthinkable victory, the New World Order, a Cold War that never was, and pondered on the modern-day repercussions. Imagine a world with different political landscapes, unfamiliar cultural dynamics, and innovative technological advances. Yet, this is all a hypothetical exploration of what could have been. While this is all conjecture, it serves as a stark reminder of the impact of World War II on shaping our current world.